such a hit.
So they released their top 10 offenses. Colorado's number 8.
This moment in sports history will be remembered as one of the better fights, man. Like,
Put the cherry on top, they played Austria today. Guess the score of that game. 32 to 25 to not medal for bronze. Hello and welcome to Bros in the Bleachers podcast, episode 11. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to shout out to the new bros who've joined the Bleachers. We're at 29 subscribers. Super pumped, super thankful. We appreciate you guys for joining, giving us the support. Today's show, we have our intro, our quick rundown, sports history, current events, bench replay, worst tweet, and then top 5 overrated QBs. I can't wait to have to fend off in the comments if we have a successful video. So looking forward to that.
let's make it happen.
How's everybody doing today?
Hey, we're doing
Oh,
good.
just
We're
dandy.
bros in the bleachers, man. Come on, there's nothing better than that.
That's right. We appreciate you guys joining us on this Monday. So we'll get right into it. Sports
Sunday.
history. Well, there'll be everybody watching. We record Sunday. Everybody will watch it Monday. We're in the future. On this day in sports history.
On this day in sports history.
Tiger Woods wins his third straight 1996 U.S. Open Amateur. And funny enough that this came up, I've been listening to the audiobook about Tiger. And he was the first to ever win 3 straight U.S. Amateurs in a row, which was quite remarkable. And considering he was probably 18 or 19.
Right.
And then Tiger Woods' dad, known as the womanizer, and gave him that Tiger his golfing mentality, but he also Tiger's dad during the book said, Bobby Jones can kiss my ass, because Bobby Jones was one of the best U.S. Amateur Open golfers of his time. So
Really taught the Tiger mentality right there for sure. I mean, teaching him young. I saw some sort of stat where it was like he won almost like 100 amateur tournaments before he even walked on like the pro course and whatnot. So I mean, Tiger's obviously a dog, but like I don't expect somebody at an amateur level to have over 100 championships. That's pretty insane.
No, and during that time when he was golfing at Stanford, he would do a bunch of U.S. Amateur championships, and then the NCAA, being a bunch of scumbags that they are, were saying, "Oh, you can't take payment for this. Oh, you can't," because Tiger had to travel back and forth to all the tournaments and hotel rooms, food, flight, all that stuff. So imagine Tiger being an NIL athlete in this day.
Top dog for sure, no doubt.
Oh yeah, without question. So that's all I had.
1922, the Cubs beat the Phillies 26-23 in the highest scoring MLB game ever. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. Hey, dude, they both outscored Iowa.
Hey, if an MLB team can outscore a college football team, that's the only team is Iowa that's getting outscored every time, every single time, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jake would have took the under in that game.
5,000%. I mean, listen, especially the game after that, if they're putting up, what was the final score, Matt? 26-23?
26-23.
If they're putting up 49 runs in one game, I mean, I'm taking the under in the next game, the next day, for sure.
I'm surprised, Matt, you picked something that late.
Oh, dude, I couldn't. Well, Jake stole mine, so I had an audible. I was going to do Mark McGwire.
Hey, that is the perfect damn segue right there. I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Mark McGwire on this day in sports history hit his first career MLB home run. It was his 4th career hit ever. And he went 1 for 5 that day, so not doing super great. But I was looking into it because, again, he only really played about, I think it was 14 or 15 games in that 1986 season that we're talking about. In 1987, my man's won Rookie of the Year, hit 49 home runs, slugged 618. And the only player in the MLB right now that is slugging above 618 is Aaron Judge, which is kind of obvious right now with everything that he's doing. But then the only other players that are even within sniffing distance of that right now, if the season ended today, are Shohei, Bobby Witt, and Juan Soto. So he's going pretty insane right now. And again, Mark McGwire just being able to be kind of that top dog that's being compared to, obviously he's a juiced athlete, but going against some of the top greats right now, definitely one of the top dogs.
Mm-hmm.
His first natural home run.
Yeah, definitely first natural one for sure.
All natty.
Way to throw that. Yep.
No growth hormone in that home run.
Nope,
That's
not at all.
funny.
All right, that'll wrap up this day in sports history. And before we get to current events, FSU, Georgia Tech, college football is back. Hosted in Dublin, Ireland for the college football game, first of the season. What did you guys think of the game?
If you're waking up that early, it better be a good game. And it definitely was. I took FSU, so I got my heart ripped out, but definitely a very good game.
Dude, I don't know if you guys saw game day at all, but when Kirk Herbstreit was talking, anytime he spoke, FSU fans just booed the shit out of him.
Really? Why?
Because of them getting left out of the playoff last year. I guess Kirk didn't want them in or something, and every time he spoke, he just got booed.
It's not up to one guy, but I mean, I feel like Kirk being kind of the face of it takes the brunt. I will tell you, I saw some crazy stuff on social media. Again, college game day being out there and having all the signs. There were some nefarious ones against Kirk. Do yourself an internet search and find some of those, because those are pretty out of pocket.
Yeah, dude, I saw the same one you're talking about. I was like, okay.
Matt, what was the one about that girl who had that sign that's
what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Okay.
There we go, baby.
Hey, Drew, I think I've told you there's rumors swirling around here in Columbus about Kirk, so I'll leave it at that.
Kirk wasn't in the best place in his life, apparently, but I'm sure hopefully he's in a better place, but the repercussions have surfaced.
Well, Drew, let me tell you, I hope a guy who's in a better place right now, not in that kind of a way, but the FSU kicker, I don't know if you guys saw the field goal that he took going into halftime to tie up the game. So again, we're talking about a guy that's tying up the game in a different country against a huge underdog. And then he celebrated like Conor McGregor coming out. And again, in the moment I had FSU. I'm like, yeah, that's great. But then as soon as that happened, I was looking back at it and I'm like, he's going to look like a total ass if this does not end up going his way. You know what I mean? So that was probably my most memorable moment of the game for sure.
But it definitely looked like the Georgia Tech run offense was having its way.
Legit.
Yeah. I was shocked to see that. I didn't think that was going to happen, but the FSU defense did not have what it took.
No,
at least in the second half. I mean, they hold them to 14 points entering the fourth quarter, but it just didn't seem like enough. That FSU offense with DJ Ukulele was quite the letdown.
DJ Ukulele, dude. In NCAA 25, the video game, the only team that I think that has completely torched me on offense, completely, like over me. I think 600 yards of offense was Georgia Tech. I think it's the highest I've ever allowed, and it's against Georgia Tech. So is that a
U thing, or is that a Georgia? No, I'm just kidding. No, Georgia Tech looked legit.
They're good for sure. Yeah, they're good.
They definitely look legit.
I didn't know their QB transferred from Texas A&M, so he definitely got his bag from Jimbo, and then just pieced out to go play at GT. So, but yeah, college football is back. Pumped to have it. We'll have a lot more in-depth analysis next week with all the games. I know, Matt, you won't be here next week, but I would love to have your takes and input. So
I'm going to try to watch as much as I can.
Absolutely. So current events, I'll start off. Carson Steele, fullback for the Kansas City Chiefs, had such a sick run. I don't know if you guys saw it in the preseason, but it was probably the most angry run. Fullbacks are back. He had a crazy stiff arm, and he also has a pet alligator named Crocky Joe.
Dude, I love Carson Steele.
Yeah.
He has the longest hair.
Yeah, he does have lettuce and flow.
I feel like it's got to be a legal requirement that if you own an alligator or a crocodile, for you to have hair that is longer than your shoulders, at least, like you got to represent that culture.
Yes,
you know,
you have to.
Yeah, quite the baller. And then some good stuff here. Salvador Perez played wiffle ball in a backyard with some KC kids in a neighborhood. Imagine just a MLB player come to hang out and play wiffle ball. Thought that was pretty cool.
That reminds me of like some of the clips. I want to say it's Anthony Davis was like driving around and he went into like some kid's like driveway that was shooting, and he like dunked, like, and then like immediately like got in the car and drove off. Like there's clips like that on the internet, and that just gives me so much of that energy.
Or it's also like when Joel Embiid goes into the the street courts in Philly or something.
Yes,
and he
same
just does
exact
random
energy.
pickup games.
I love it.
Yeah, so shout out the athletes who interact with the fans like that. Then we have
Like Ron Artest.
Yeah, Ron Artest loved interacting with the fans. He just
I think the NBA loved the fact that Ron Artest engaged with the fans too.
Yes,
you know?
Yes. I had to throw that one in there.
Is that the saddest NBA moment in history?
It's up there.
Yeah.
You guys watched that doc on Netflix, right? The Malice in the Palace.
Malice in the Palace is one of the top 30 for 30s, no doubt.
Yep.
And then
can you imagine getting socked by Ron Artest?
One of the last athletes that I would want to be socked in the face by, let me tell you.
Roof knitted Odor and Ron Artest. All right, keep going, Drew.
On both unhinged people. And then another sad thing, I got my heart ripped out watching the Coke 0400 for Kyle Busch, who led the race and then lost it on the final lap to get second and miss the playoffs. So
did he get
sucked. Spun? No, he did not get involved in a wreck the whole night. So even though he was had the worst luck and stretch of 10 races, not that anybody cares if there's any NASCAR fans. Anyways, and then during that race, Josh Berry had one of the worst crashes I've ever seen.
Oh, I saw that. That was bad.
Was that the one where the car got lifted in the air?
Yeah. He was upside down, was rolled into the barrier upside down.
The infield wall.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was pretty safe until that happened because he was going at a good amount of speed, at least 130 miles an hour.
Is the infield wall cushioned like the out wall?
Yeah, no, okay. it is. So there's the safer barrier isn't on that wall, is on that wall. Just like when Kyle Busch didn't hit the wall with a safer barrier and then broke his leg and then won the championship that year.
Dog.
So, and that'll wrap up for what I had.
All right. My current events. Elly De La Cruz is the fourth player in MLB history to record 20 home runs and 60 stolen bases in a season. I did see one of those stolen bases in person. That was great, dude. You guys, if you get a chance to see him in person, he's so fun.
Way to contribute to his 30-60 season, right? Appreciate that.
Butterfly effect. What if you weren't there?
Then he would not have gone it.
The course of history, baseball history could have been changed.
So funny. Hey, Matt, I saw a video earlier this week. Shout out Baseball Doesn't Exist. I watched a lot of their content, and it was talking about Elly De La Cruz, how he's known as being absolutely electrifying on the field, and especially for his defensive ability. But it was showing a stat where on easy plays, so like again, standard ground balls that are coming right to you from a shortstop, he's the sixth worst defender in baseball. But when it comes to hard plays, like the ones where no one should get it, like again, your classic like Jeter throw it up in the air style ones, he is the best defender in baseball. So it just goes to show that he's like almost like too electric to where like when the easy simple ones come to him, it's just like it kind of gets him. But like again, if you need a bare hand in the gap, turn around, throw it, like he's got you every time. It's nuts.
That's awesome.
A backflip McTwist between the legs to first base.
Dude, speaking of that, have you ever watched the Savannah Bananas clips where the guys literally do a backflip and then catch the ball, or do like a backflip like while they're fielding a ground ball? Like I saw some guy do a crossover. He gets the ground ball, does a crossover between his legs, and then throws the guy out still. And again, it's kind of staged in some way. Like you want to make it
still
fun,
impressive.
Like, it is insanely impressive. These guys are like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. I love it.
They came here a couple months ago, and the tickets sold out for all 3 nights. And the resale prices on these tickets were insane. I didn't think they were I knew they were popular. I didn't think they were that popular.
It's something I've actually seen like their management team like come out and basically say like, we are not responsible for like the resale. Like we want to keep this like for the fans and like make it fan first, So it's kind of interesting to see how like the secondary culture of like baseball family and entertainment really like bought into it and like drove up the market price. It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. So Elly and the 20 and 60 club. I also had week 0 as a precursor. We are officially in college football season, week 1 ahead. I don't know if you guys have seen the slate. It's pretty good. So Clemson, Georgia at noon Eastern, Penn State, West Virginia, Fox, Big noon kickoff. Gus Johnson, let's go.
That's not a night game?
No.
Oh my God. Fox Noon, screw it. Oh my God. They're the worst. I'm sorry.
I know.
Matt, I've never met anybody that cares more about which network games are going to be on than you. Like the fact it's like, oh, Gus, let's go.
It's half of it, dude. You can ask Drew. That's half of what I care about. But
dude, they had the night game last year and it was electric. Oh, that's such a letdown. That has to be a night game.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, West Virginia is winning this game.
Whoa.
It's in Morgantown. West Virginia has a better quarterback. West Virginia is winning this game.
That Green dude, Green, is that his name? Green,
yes,
Graham Green.
Drew Allers sucks, and we'll get into that later.
No, we'll get into it too. And listen, in that take, I was going to say that we've got to hammer Penn State. So now, and listen, this is we might need to come up with some sort of wager towards the end of this thing and see. But I might give you a few points, but we're not, you're not giving me full spread. We'll see what's up.
We got Miami. UF, Drew, you got to get ready for the battle for your state. That's going to be a great game. And then the nightcap on Saturday, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I think that would be a close game. I'll give it to Notre Dame. Sunday night, LSU, USC, Miller Moss going. We'll see how good he is. Hey, Jake, that game's in Vegas. So and then Monday night, Boston College, Florida State.
Does Florida State drop another one?
Yes.
Damn.
Might.
Dude, if FSU starts 0-2.
Fall from grace.
Yeah. So, all right, Jake, bring it on to you.
All right. Current event wise, it wouldn't be a current event if I didn't talk about baseball. So we're running through, and honestly, the MVP race, I don't need to talk too much about it. It's locked up. It's going to be Judge. It's going to be Ohtani. But I think that the real cool piece of this is that we're seeing two guys that are basically getting snubbed out of MVP because of how good these guys are. So I want to talk about Bobby Witt. Basically should win the MVP in really any other year. This guy's leading the MLB in hits, in runs, in average. But the problem is that Judge just leads in more categories, and they're honestly the sexier categories. He leads in home runs, RBI, slugging percentage, and an OPS plus. And I think that the cool stat that I looked at is prior to today's game, because even prior to filming in the first inning of the game, Judge just nuked his 50th of the year. So stats are going up. But if the season ended today, he would have close to the top 25 season of all time in OPS plus. And we're talking against the all-time greats of now, like Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, Josh Gibson, again, like stat wise, this guy's having an absolutely phenomenal season. So it sucks that Bobby Witt is just absolutely getting screwed out of an MVP, but Judge is just on a generational tear. And it kind of reminds me of like those early 2000s MVP races where like Barry Bonds was just like, no one's touching whatever stats that this guy could put up. And granted, the MLB caught on as to why, but it's just cool to be able to see a guy like Judge dominate, but a guy like Bobby Witt, still just dominate, just needs to be in a different league, honestly, is what it comes down to.
It's always interesting. Some of my favorite things are seeing the runner-ups as far as MVP races and what could have been, or past second runner-up champions. I always thought it was cool, but something I'll bring up since Josh isn't here. Jose Ramirez, MVP. No, you're not going to bring that up, huh? Jerk.
No, man. No, listen. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for filling in for Josh right there. He'll love that. No, I think the cool part about baseball right now is that like obviously the talent has gotten better year over year, and like generations are different. It's hard to compare them, but like there's guys on random teams, and I'm calling Cleveland a random team, but not necessarily the biggest market of teams where calm down there. I know you're doing your best Josh impression still, but I mean, those guys are going to go down. Jose Ramirez will probably end up going down as the best, if not one of the best Cleveland Indians of all time. Like it will be kind of noted in my opinion. But when it comes down to, guys like Judge, and because they're playing for a group like the Yankees, like you're now talking about guys that there's 20 something retired numbers at Yankee Stadium. And I think that what he's done, like, again, talk about, years and years and years down the line, like he's going to probably be up on the wall too. But it's cool to see a guy like Jose Ramirez, again, consistently put up good seasons. But Josh is not going to hear that I don't have him for MVP for this year, probably next year, because if Bobby Witt's doing what he's doing now, and Judge is doing what he's doing now, it's going to be pretty locked up for a little while now.
Enjoy your fist fight on Monday.
I know, right? I'm going to love it. I'm wearing my Muhammad Ali shirt. I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up current events, and we're going to move on to our bench or play. Jake. Oh, Jake, did you not have anything? Oh,
no,
you did.
brother. No. I definitely have one. Let me tell you. So, my play of this week, I saw an absolutely phenomenal tweet from Lamar Jackson. It was basically to the point of saying that if anybody wants the smoke, Lamar Jackson will be the Tony Stark and assemble the Avengers and make this happen for the Olympics, the flag football in 2028 in Los Angeles. And I just think that, again, seeing guys like that just want to be involved and honestly kind of take a shot at not getting the roses that they probably should have of like being the top guys in their league, but it's just a little bit strayed version of the sport. It kind of goes back to what we talked about a few weeks ago with like the US men's 3-on-3 team, right? Like I want to see the guys that don't make the national 5-on-5 team play in the smaller events that they're now opening. Let's do the same thing with flag football, man. Like, again, maybe it's not going to be your Lamar Jacksons, but maybe it's your guys that are a half a tier lower that, are willing to take the injury and go for gold, man. Screw it. Let's go.
Dude, can you imagine Lamar Jackson in flag football?
Dude, go through some of his tweets. I mean, he's got some sick clips from high school and whatnot, just being able to turn on the brakes. I just think that that's the skill that you need in flag football,
Wait, I want to see Tavon Austin in flag football.
Throw on the mixtape music right now.
Yes, let's go. Drew, you're going to have to put that in.
Now, there was has been talked about across all the media platforms, but the dork for the flag football team who's 5'7", who paved the way for flag football, who you rather have Lamar Jackson than him? Really? Give me a break. He paved the what a dork.
I forget if it was him. I forget if it was him or somebody, but it was basically saying like, I have a better football IQ than Patrick Mahomes. Like you want me behind center. And I'm like, dog, that's a tough take.
Yeah. What a dork. Lamar Jackson or this. Like, no.
So that was my best tweet. I love seeing Lamar and other big guys just being able to come and kind of clap back at the internet and say, if you want the smoke, we will turn into the Avengers and we will come after you. I love it.
That's awesome. All right. Oh God, Drew.
Was that your best tweet, Jake?
That's my best tweet. Yeah.
Oh, we were doing venture play.
Oh, sick. Okay. Well, I play that.
We'll just go to worst tweet. So
what did he say?
What do you mean? Brother, this guy stinks.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And if you have yours pulled up.
All right, I got a best and worst tweet. So, best tweet, guys, Colorado State dropped their new unis and it was spreading on Twitter. These are sick uniforms. I don't know. Have you guys seen them?
Yeah, I saw them. They're pretty sweet.
They are, dude, they might be some of the best uniforms in college football right now.
Incorporating the state flag on the sleeve was pretty cool. Maybe the helmet could have been a little better, but
I mean, dude, these are sick. I hope they beat Colorado and Dion in these.
There we go. There's Matt.
There it is. There it is.
Colorado.
Podcast counter streak number 11.
Streak continues, baby. All right, and then the worst. I had another. It's funny tweet, not worse. It's just funny. After the FSU debacle, Florida State is preparing to sue the Republic of Ireland.
What?
It's a joke because FSU is currently suing the ACC right now.
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Due to them trying to get out.
You had me worried about some international affairs that might come up right there.
I thought that was hilarious. Just the amount of memes after the game. Twitter was on fire.
That's pretty good. My worst or best tweet, depending on who you're a fan of. Maybe if I saw a tweet that somebody changed for DJ Ukulele's Google page is DJ, you need to get a job.
Oh man.
Hey guys, I called it like a show or two ago. DJ came up and I said I'm not impressed by him. Florida State, I'm not that high on. I think this is Clemson. We were talking about FSU.
All right, Matt, I'll throw up the clip.
I'll throw
up me picking FSU for the ACC. I think he carries that energy from Oregon State to the Florida State offense. Maybe they figure it out. I lost. Go ahead, Jake.
I think as I was watching it yesterday, I mean, like, frankly, the first couple of quarters, like, if you looked at just the stat sheet and you did not watch the game, like, he looked all right. Like, I mean, he had like a good completion percentage. He was like getting kind of, I'm not going to
He had 1 yard dump offs.
Hey, but when you look at the end of the game and whatnot, it just shows that they didn't end up scoring anything through the air. And again, I think it goes back to what we talked about from Georgia Tech standpoint. Like, they really showed up, like, and a guy like that just got absolutely clamped. And Matt, I'll give you your roses too. You called it as well. But I think that for a guy like DJ, you need to get a job. He might need to get a job, you know?
I mean, he had some good throws in the late third, early fourth quarter on that one drive. Like, I'm like, all right, like maybe he's back. But no, I've just never really seen it with him. So by all accounts, a great kid, but
week 0. A lot of football left to play.
Still week 0 in a different country. Like, it's still got a lot of stuff going on still.
But guys, if they lose to Boston College next week and Doak Campbell,
yeah, I'll eat my words. I'll chalk it up. But all right, moving on to venture play. My play will be the new introduced Dr. Pepper Krispy Kreme football donuts. If you haven't, they might be out soon, or if not, they already are. So go to your Krispy Kreme, get some Dr. Pepper. We are big Dr. Pepper fans here on the podcast. So go ahead and get those donuts. And then I'm benching the Washington Nationals for posting Patrick Corbin's 100th win. Like I said, that needs to be celebrated. What a loser. And then some of the comments were saying, I've seen enough. Give him another 5-year, $250 million contract.
They just needed that one social media graphic and they were sold. They're like, this guy is a winner.
So benching Patrick Corbin in the Washington Nationals. So I'll then transition over to Matt. What was your venture play?
So my play, guys, I think it's time we talk about Trey Lance. I think his career's done. I'm sorry, Jake, but 5 interceptions in a preseason. I mean, what is this, his fourth season?
I believe this is his third, going into his 4th season. Now let's just take a half a beat. And again, as the Homer Cowboys fan, I hadn't been here for a while. I want to stamp my flag back into the ground. When I went to that week 1 preseason game, when Trey Lance had played the entire game except everything but the first drive, where Cooper Rush threw one of the prettiest balls I've seen in person in a long time. And again, preseason football, Cooper Rush is not the guy. Dak is the guy. But when it comes down to play, I don't need the eye rolls. Okay, man, come on.
No, I'm giving them to you whether you like it or not.
So with Trey Lance, and in that week 1 game, Stetson Bennett threw 4 what should have been 5 picks, and they ended up winning the game. And in this game with the Cowboys, I will tell you, it's not fun seeing your quarterback throw 5 interceptions, but I'm taking it as preseason. You're playing with guys that are making mistakes. A couple of those balls were on him for sure. But a lot of those were just some ugly routes and tip balls and just not what you want it to be, you know, but a couple of them were just,
yeah. I don't know. I think the clock is ticking pretty fast for Trey Lance. So we'll see if anything occurs in the next season.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's watching his career like on YouTube when you could watch it at like 2 times X. Like that's what's going on.
That's what it is. For sure. Dude, it might be at 2.5.
Shit.
Yeah, old Trey Lance. The clock is ticking. San Francisco. What a bust. What a bust.
Well, hey, let me talk about a guy right now in my play right now that gets a little bit of love, but definitely needs a little bit more love at the start of the season. Mike McDaniel's transition in Miami.
He looks completely different.
He looks terrible.
No. The best part about it is that you have to look at him from like his first ever interview as like a Miami Dolphins coach.
I
Like
know.
he is suited, glasses, like hi everybody, I'm Mike McDaniel, and then like goes into like this whole like 2-3 year transition later, and he's the guy that now has his feet up on the table wearing a sweatsuit into the meetings.
Oh yeah, like, Chico. Oh yeah, Chico.
What do you got for me? Yeah.
Dude, he looks like he could be the third character in War Dogs with Miles Teller and Jonah Hill.
That's great. I love that.
I think Mike McDaniel has to say Dale after every sentence from now on.
Hey, well, now Pitbull Stadium there, you gotta just a hop, skip, and a jump away from saying Dale at Daleville, you know?
At all FIU.
FIU.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up Bench Replay, and we're moving on to our final segment. Top 5 overrated QBs in college football. Who wants to start off for the top 5? Who wants their hot takes out there? Who wants to get roasted?
I want to stir the pot right now.
All right, Matt wants all the smoke. Go ahead.
All right. My number 5 most overrated QB, Cam Ward. So look, at Washington State last year, like with that offense they had some pretty decent receivers. As you guys know, Wazoo crumbled the second half of the season after Arizona just gave them, an ass beating. I don't think Cam Ward's bad, but I don't think he's enough to get Miami over the hump.
I will argue that any quarterback Cam Ward will be better than for Miami. So
I just think I think there's a couple quarterbacks in the ACC better than Cam Ward, like Cade Klubnik. Not DJ, you need to go get a job. But I think Cam Ward's better than him. But I don't know. I just see all the hype on Twitter about Cam Ward. I think he's good. I just don't really see him being elite.
That's fair. But in the sense for Miami, he's going to be better than Trevor Van Dyke. And hopefully Miami gets a quarterback who throws over 3,500 yards for the first time. And I can't remember.
We need to bring back Tate Martell.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
What do you think Tathan's doing right now?
Probably selling real estate or insurance. If I had a guess.
My number 4, any UNC quarterback. Just dude. Teams just need to stop drafting any North Carolina quarterbacks. That's my number 4. End of discussion there. All right. Number 3. I'm not saying he's not top 5. Okay. I think he is. It's just, I don't think Carson Beck is a unanimous best QB in the country. What do we think about that?
I don't know about that one. No,
I just think he's so boosted by their O-line. Like, I top 5. Yes. But everyone's saying as if he's the unanimous number 1. I don't know.
I don't know if he's the unanimous number 1. Agreed. I think that Georgia, again, it's kind of what we're talking about. Not that I'm comparing this guy to Trey Lance, but again, you're in an offense when you've got every top recruit in the country at every position. It's going to make your quarterback look a little bit better,
Yeah,
right.
His job a lot easier. So again, I think he's great quarterback, just not number 1. My number 2, I need to preface this one a little. So Cam Rising. Now, what?
Really?
When Cam Rising, the last time he played, great. However, he has been hurt a whole year, has not played football in a long time, and now he's 25. I'm not sure how good he will be this year. And like Utah right now is the betting favorite to win the Big 12. I don't know. I don't think Cam Rising might be at that same level as he once was.
Wasn't it Ohio State in the Rose Bowl last game he played?
Yeah. Where Smith-Njigba caught like 600 yards receiving. I don't know. I just think Cam's time might be done, but we'll see. He could prove me wrong. All right, my number 1. I alluded to this earlier. Drew Aller. He sucks. Drew, we saw him in person last year in the shoe. That was one of the most boring games ever. Drew Aller, no.
Just no.
It's funny because you look at his stats, you see, hey, 2,600 yards throwing, 25 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But watching the games, he doesn't win games for that team.
No, he went 9-3. Like again, for Penn State standards, that's not what you need. That's not what you want. I don't hate the take. I kind of like it.
Yeah, looking at his game log at that Ohio State game where they lost, he threw probably about 15 touchdowns after that game and threw 2 picks after that. So, and in that Ohio State game, he was not even throwing balls close to even where the defensive backs can make a play. So, no interceptions coming close if you don't throw it near the receiver in the first place. So,
remember when we walked by the Fox Big Noon kickoff set?
oh yeah, and they're tossing up free Wendy's. It was great.
Yeah. Should have
Gotta
been
love
there,
a network,
Jake.
Matt. Gotta love a network.
Gotta love the network.
That's good, Matt. Good top five. See how that goes. We'll move on to Jake's top five. Who do you like, Jake? Is overrated QB?
All
This
right,
should be
Drew.
good.
Yeah, this will be a good one. We'll see. All right. So my number 5 that I have is Peyton Thorne from Auburn. And here's why. Again, we're looking at a guy that last year on an Auburn team just straight up underperformed. They went 6-7 last year. He individually around 1,700 passing yards, 16-10 touchdown to interception split. So
That's
great.
Not that good.
Yeah. It's not great, right? So I think that the big thing on why I have him as overrated in this regard is because a lot of people are bringing up his 2021 stats when he was at Michigan State. And,
that's why that name was familiar. I knew he transferred somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a transfer from MSU, and in his best season, he had 3,200 passing yards with a 27-10 touchdown interception split, 11-2 record that 1 year. I'm just not
Walker. High.
Yeah. I'm just, what's up?
Last year, he didn't throw the ball at all, and he had 10 interceptions with that. Like, he barely got over 20 completions a game. It was around like 15 to 12
that's me in NCAA 25.
There you go. Well, I think the big reason why I had him on here too is because a lot of people are really high on Auburn because they had a huge kind of refresh of their wide receiver room, and everyone's talking about how they're going to be great and whatnot. I was looking at it in terms of like the addition standpoint. They did get 3 transfer seniors. So again, you've got guys that have got experience from a variety of schools, and then it's 4 freshmen. So, hopefully they retooled their room and they got something for Peyton. But frankly, I'm not that high on him. So I have him as my number 5 on that.
Do you guys remember that Alabama Auburn game last year? That crazy last second throw into the corner by Milroe. My God.
And again, I wish that we were talking about underrated because I think Milroe and buying all of the stock right now on this guy is worth every penny right now. Just saying.
Yep.
All right. My number 4, I have Brady Cook. And again, I think that I'm probably going to get flamed for this. We'll end up seeing how this goes. But the Missouri quarterback last year had a great season, 3,300 passing yards, a 21-6 split. So again, phenomenal season. They went 11-2. I personally, and maybe this is just my lack of college football watching, I just can't see Missouri being a team that's just really going to go deep in this. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at their schedule right now, and they don't have like a terribly hard schedule, I guess. And again, my outside college football knowledge here, I'm thinking that big games are probably going to be at Alabama later in the season when they host Oklahoma. But outside of that, it seems like a little bit of a cakewalk. So I'm putting him as overrated because I think that them going back to back with 11-2 or better seasons is probably not happening. And if they're getting to 11-2, it's going to be because of Brady Cook. So put him down as my number 4.
Can't argue with
that. I also think Luther Burden's overrated.
You're just looping that in there.
Dude. Tedderoa McMillan is the best receiver in college football, not Luther Burden. I want people to stop spreading the fake news.
That is a buy now move for sure. My number 3,
Drew.
Clip it, put it in the Bros of the Bleachers Hall of Fame right there. My next one at number 3, I have Miller Moss out of USC. I just think that the team is going to underperform. I don't think that he's got necessarily the huge tools that are really going to make that team shine in the new conference and whatnot. So I'm putting him down as my number 3. He might be choice by attrition on USC here, but he's my guy in the 3 spot.
Jake, I respectfully disagree. I think this might be the only one on your list I disagree with, but
really, okay,
I think Miller's going to be great. I think he will be a top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten behind Dylan Gabriel, behind Will Howard, definitely ahead of Drew Aller.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, is that a guy like this, like again, younger in his career or whatnot, I think that for USC, they're not looking to have a top 5 guy. Like they want a guy they want a Heisman candidate. You know what I mean? So I think he's underperforming or overperforming in that regard.
But that all changes if he beats LSU week 1.
There you go.
I don't think that happens, but that's just me.
Yeah, me neither. Again, I'm not buying the Miller Moss stocks on this one. But for my number 2, Matt, actually, you're going to agree with this really hard. It is Drew Aller.
Let's go.
Again, the stats for this guy just really don't show it for me. The record really didn't come through from what a Penn State perspective wants, right? Again, last year, Drew already mentioned it, but threw around 2,600 passing yards, had a decent split at 25-2 from a touchdown interception standpoint. With all of this being said, I'm taking Penn State week 1. And I think that the reason why you do it is because that team across the board is more talented. And I think even at the quarterback position, when you talk about West Virginia, it's not a perfect science in this, but I think that Drew Aller probably edges out a little bit, even in that regard. And then every other position on the field, Penn State is better in. So I'm taking the line. I'm taking Penn State for sure.
I can't wait for that game. It's going to be rocking in Morgantown.
Yep. And Drew, I would say clip that, but don't clip it until I'm right. Okay. Just make sure. Okay, cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Drew, going back earlier, it's a crime that this game is not a night game.
Yeah. The battle in the backyard. Am I butchering that?
No. That's Pittsburgh, West Virginia, the backyard brawl.
Then what's this one? Is that
I don't know.
Is this a rivalry game? The backyard brawl. They actually just fight in the backyard after the game. That's what it is.
In the future, Bros in the Bleachers live from Morgantown on site.
Hey, we'll see. We'll get there one day. Well, again, hopefully this rubs Matt the right way. But my number 1 is actually going to be Will Howard. And I think that
I agree with you.
Let's go. I love it. But no, from a Will Howard perspective, I think it kind of goes back to what this full list is made of, is that you're going to want a guy that's going to not just be top 5, top 10. You want them to win the Heisman. Like you want them to be like your top guy. And I think that all the other positions at Ohio State just outshine the quarterback position. And frankly, that's what we're rolling with, is that Will Howard's overrated, I guess, underperforming.
The only position of concern Ohio State has this year is quarterback. And I wouldn't even say it's like a concern. Like, I think Will Howard's good. He's just not the best quarterback in Oregon, like in the Big Ten, again, like especially against Oregon. I think comparing him to previous OSU quarterbacks besides Kyle McCord, I don't know. I'm just not buying him that much. Now, thank God he has Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate.
Yeah, he'll have weapons around him that are going to make him look much better. You know
Junkins. What I mean? He'll be stacked. But I mean, maybe all Ohio State needs him to do is just not turn it over. Like, he doesn't have to be like elite at anything. He just, I think they're better quarterbacks than Will Howard.
In this situation, with Will Howard taking over Kyle McCord as quarterback, Cam Ward taking over Trevor Van Dyke, I don't think that they'll get the media hate that they should get if that wasn't the case, taking over a lesser talented quarterback position. But in the grand scheme of things, that still could be true, to where it still could be kind of like a flat. It could still land flat for the season, looking into what their new teams.
If you guys had to call it right now, does OSU win the Big Ten and beat Michigan this year?
Definitely beat Michigan.
Yes.
OH.
IO. There's no way they lose to Michigan this year. That it's not happening. Like, I think they for sure beat Michigan. They don't win the Big Ten championship game, though.
Matt, I don't know what we're both drinking right now, but we are agreeing on a lot of things.
We're drinking the same thing.
Clearly, no. I'm in the same camp. I think that, again, this OSU team, like, I feel like they really are going to come in and they're just going to kind of throttle. And again, the Michigan game, I think, is something that everybody has obviously circled on the calendar, but I think that they're just going to come out and throttle that. But that Big Ten division is now completely retooled. So I think that, again, you're going to be seeing somebody sneak in and get scary at some point. So we'll see.
Boys, do you know who I wish just gets annihilated this year more than Colorado.
There can't be.
Washington. I hope Washington wins maybe 3 games. I want to see Jetfish just crumble, baby. I can't wait for that downfall. Jed made a mistake.
I might have something to shine on that later, but I'll start with my top 5. My top 5. Now, this is just going off the Davey O'Brien award watch list for what I saw. And my number 5, I'm going with KJ Jefferson for UCF. I think that dude sucks. That Arkansas offense.
You think he sucks?
I think so. I mean, this guy was, I don't know. He gets hurt. I think he turns the ball over. I don't think he has that great of a dynamic ability. I wasn't a fan of him in Arkansas. He had that one really good season, and then it was just kind of a letdown from there. I don't think.
Guys, I'm kind of nervous for the UCF game this year. Their space game. Of course, it's against Arizona.
Well, those are sick uniforms. You got to give it to them at least. Yes, they're probably going to win the jersey war in that regard.
Oh, you know what's cool? During the NCAA or the college football game, I was playing against UCF, and they had a space shuttle launch taking off. And
that's sick.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. For my number 4, Jalon Daniels from Kansas. I think that dude's gonna stink. He played 3 games last year after getting hurt. Whether it takes for him a couple games to tune up, I don't think he's going to be that great. I thought Jackson Bean was a better quarterback.
That's a hot take.
I just don't see it. Hey, Jackson Bean in the XFL, whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
First overall draft pick.
Going to be tearing it up, apparently.
Kansas corners, dude, Kobe Bryant, and I forgot what the other corner is named. They might have the best, a top 5 corner unit in the country. They're loaded. It's a good team, very good team. But we'll see if Daniels can. Yeah,
I think Kansas doesn't make the top 25, and I don't like the quarterback. So I'm a hater on Kansas, and rightfully so, because we're gonna take the Big 12 for Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, number 3. Will Rogers from University of Washington.
Thank God.
I hated that dude at Mississippi State. I hate that Mississippi State's team always sucked. Sorry, Mississippi State fans. It's not their college specifically, but just Will Rogers. In this regard, I think him at University of Washington, I think he's going to blow. I don't feel that he's going to be able to elevate that offense the way Michael Penix did at Washington. And when you also have a scumbag coach, I think they'll probably.
You took anything personally or anything by calling him a scumbag, right?
Yeah, not personal at all, even though that's exactly what he is.
Oh, it's so good.
Beady-eyed weasel. Next, my number 2, not a big take after seeing what we saw in FSU.
Here we go.
DJ, you need to get a job. Number 2. He elevated himself to that number 2 position. If they lose to Boston College and if he doesn't throw at least over 250 passing yards, well, Houston, we got a problem. Tallahassee better figure it out, and Mike Norvell will have his hands full and maybe the hot seat. Who knows? DJ Ukulele, you need to get a job, number 2. And then last, a common occurrence here we had with Drew Aller. Imagine being named Drew. What a dork.
Yeah, what a fucking nerd.
I just love how Drew Aller is on all of our lists.
This dude, he's going to have his hands full. If he did not make any improvements learning that offense and being confident to throw the ball down the field and not dumping it off, well, that's going to land you at the number 1 overrated quarterback position. I don't see him staying on that preseason award list for the O'Brien. Give me Penn State at number 1 with Drew Aller.
I'm honestly surprised none of us said Shedeur.
I'm worried that he actually might ball out. You know what I mean? Like, again, I feel like, again, for as much as we were talking about it,
my Apple Watch,
right? For as much as we've been talking about it, like, we all have, varying views of what Shedeur and I feel like some other teams are going to bring to the season, but he's just a guy that can be so dynamic that I hope that, again, for him from like an athlete standpoint, he excels. You know what I mean? From a Colorado standpoint, I hope they get 6 wins.
Guys, if they lose Thursday night to North Dakota State, I'm going to be feral on the next episode of the podcast.
Now, where Shedeur elevates himself is he's a great stat patter. Whether that leads to success with the wins, who knows? I don't know. I think he kind of gets himself out of that overrated quarterback because he'll put up the numbers, he'll put up the stats, but it necessarily won't lead to the wins. And maybe he's getting sacked a lot. You don't see those kind of numbers. Maybe he gets sacked 5 times a game, and that kind of decreases those odds of them winning more football games. So,
and that is what happened last year. Is he got sacked
exactly.
You know what I mean? Right.
Wait, guys, really quick before we end the episode, we have to have a little Dion segment. So you guys,
we might as well have a Dion segment because it's in 11 episodes in a row mentioning him.
So Friday, the university informed the Denver Post that they are not allowing columnist Sean Keeler to ask Dion questions anymore after a series of personal attacks. So what are these examples of personal attacks that Keeler said in his articles? He called Dion phrases such as a false prophet, deposition Dion, Planet Prime, Bruce Lee of BS, the Dion Kool-Aid, and circus.
Does this guy write wrestling like literature? Like that's phenomenal.
It's awesome. And Dion has banned him from the post-game press conferences.
After 2 weeks ago, where Dion was ignoring his questions and not answering his questions that he had during the press conference, he has now since banned this man from his press conferences.
Hate to see it.
Dude, Deion Sanders is the what's his name? Who's the UCLA? He's the Mick Cronin of college football. Remember, you guys remember Mick Cronin caused a huge fuss about some kid in the Zona Zoo spitting on him or like attacking him. Do you guys remember that?
I do remember them trying to attack Zona Zoo and our character and the ethics and what we stand for. You know what I mean?
There was a cop right there, and the cop was like, "No one did anything. Mick's lying."
Little does he know that the cop is from Tucson.
Matt, did you have any Caitlin Clark stats you wanted to add too?
No, not this week.
You love mentioning her. Dion, Mick Cronin, Caitlin Clark.
Hey, we're starting to get in a rhythm, you know. We're hitting the big categories.
But any closing thoughts before we end the show for today?
Dude, I can't wait for week 1.
Gonna be
Let's
big.
Get football going.
I can't tell you if there's anything that I have locked in right now as like my number 1 game of the week or things that I'm going to be dialed in on, but just know I'll be on the board.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Dude, your FanDuel account's going to be rocking and rolling.
BetMGM, sir. We can't use FanDuel in the great state of Nevada here. So we're
wait, really?
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah.
You can't use any of like the online sports books in Nevada. You have to use the casino one. So this did not become a free plug for BetMGM, but feel free to use the casino gambling apps.
Wait. So you physically have to walk over to the casinos?
No. They have their own online app that you can use.
Okay. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Has that app gotten better?
Oh yeah, phenomenally better. I mean, there's same game parlays, there's every different kind of random thing. In fact, yesterday I was watching UFC randomly just because I was kind of doing a sports binger marathon of watching anything that was on ESPN Plus. And I was watching the end of I'm gonna mess up the names. It's Caio Brujalio. He's the Brazilian fighter that was fighting last night. And again, just being able to like, you know, are they going to win by decision? Are they going to win in this round? Are they going to do that? And I was just like, I got $5. Screw it. We'll see what's up. And I ended up winning. So I was like, all right, I might be watching some UFC. So who knows? We might add a UFC segment coming forward. We'll see what's up.
Wait, guys. Literally, as we were talking right now, Aaron Judge just went yard again.
52, baby. My RBI take is looking unreal right now. Let's go.
Man.
What a hell of a way to end the pod. Look at that.
All rise for the fucking Judge.
Hey, that puts him at 51 for the year. I don't know what the RBI count is. He probably has at least 3 or 4 today. So he's probably about 10 away. So I wouldn't be shocked that by the next time I'm on a pod, he hasn't already hit that RBI mark. So staple it in. Let's go, baby. Come on.
And a home run by Castellanos.
Right.
Oh, they're playing the Rockies right now. Yeah. He has 2 home runs, 3 RBIs.
There you go. All rise.
All rise for the judge. But that'll do it for this week's of Bros in the Bleachers. Make sure you go on our TikTok, follow that, go to our Twitter, go on Spotify, listen, rate us 5 stars. We'd appreciate it. Maybe we'll have a TikTok of me getting roasted for our gambling picks. We'll see. But that'll do it for this week of Bros in the Bleachers podcast.
See you, bros.
Adios.